Hi guys, I want to share an experience I had recently that actually reminded me of something. Village people. It actually showed me how village people work in our lives. Now the experience goes like this. I have a YouTube channel and for over 10 or 12 years that I've had the channel, I was more of a consumer. I don't really upload videos to them. But lately, say about a year ago, I started uploading videos to YouTube. Now, in the beginning, when I upload some videos to YouTube, I'll click on it is not for kids. Because when you're uploading a video to YouTube, there's a page that comes up where you see is it for kids or it's not for kids. I'll always click it's not for kids. So I continued like that for a while. Now I discovered something. I've uploaded over 50 videos on YouTube and none of my videos were performing. These videos were, I think I just had about one or two videos that had one or two views. This thing was bothering me because at the same time I upload my videos to YouTube, I upload them to TikTok. Sometimes I upload to Facebook. Sometimes I share the YouTube link on Facebook. I even share on Reddit and all that. Now, my videos on TikTok, some are doing 80 views, 100 views, 50 views after 1 or 2 weeks. Right, I know it's usually easier for you to have views on TikTok than YouTube. I think so. I'm not saying it is so. Because from my own experience. Now, after a while, this issue of TikTok and YouTube became a serious problem for me because I was always comparing my videos on YouTube and TikTok. Now, I was very bothered that my videos on YouTube were not making progress. It got to a point that this thing was giving me sleepless nights. For some months, over 4 months, I was having sleepless nights simply because of this. At the point, it nearly affected the rate at which I do my videos. So, sometime about 3 weeks ago, from the time of recording this audio or this podcast, I'm recording this podcast on the 21st of May 2023. So I think sometime about 3 weeks ago or so, or thereabouts, I was working on my system and I was doing a lot of things. I was blogging, I was reading. So somehow I just opened my YouTube and said, let me check my videos. And somehow I opened one page and I saw something and I just read through. Okay, I was looking for something else on YouTube. I now saw a page I opened that talked about rules and regulation of YouTube. I just glanced through the first paragraph and it was talking about guidelines with respect to how your videos are they for kids and not for kids. That was when I understood what that thing meant. That is, what that icon, is it for kids or it is not for kids, what it actually meant. And I found out that when you put your video there, it is not for kids, YouTube limits the amount of people it shows that video because it assumes that the video contains pornographic content or something. So after reading this, I was flabbergasted. I had to now go back to all my videos on YouTube from A to Z and had to add that it is for kids. Now, why am I saying this? The actual cause of my problem was me. Because after I changed the settings of the videos to put it for kids. In less than 2 weeks, some of my videos were doing 10 views, 25 views. So if those videos are up there for 1 year, probably some of them will make over 1 million views. I was the problem. I did not read the terms. I did not bother to find out what that thing meant. And I just skipped it in my videos. Now, the problem with some of us is that when we have a problem, the first thing we do is to point accusing fingers at village people, or point accusing fingers at our enemies and assume that it is their evil machination that is causing all the problems in our life. Now, this does not mean that there are no evil people. Yes, human beings are evil naturally. You have people that are jealous. You have people that will go and do a lot of negative things against you. Yes. But when there is a problem, I think the first step that we have to take is to find in the physical if there is a reason for that thing. For some of us, we don't read. Yes, when we talk about reading is the problem. Because if I read the terms of YouTube, or if I was reading the mails that YouTube used to send to me, somewhere, somehow, I would have seen that thing. Because I know I normally see a lot of mails from YouTube saying so many things, but I don't bother reading them. I don't. Now, I had a conversation sometime with a guy, and he mentioned something. He said Nigerians don't read, that we don't read. It's a thing that I already know as a writer. I know it's our way of life. Even when you send people official documents, you can write a letter to a company or somebody, and the person says, okay, come back in 3 days, come back in 1 week, and let's discuss it. 1 week later, you come back, I have not read it. Okay, where is it? He starts looking for the letter. Maybe he goes to his phone or something, his device, and opens the mail, or he brings out the physical letter and starts reading it in front of you. Students don't read. Everybody doesn't read. We don't even read manuals before we operate the things we operate. So now my question is, when you don't read about something and you want to operate that thing and you happen to damage that thing, who's responsible for it? Is it your village people? Is it your enemies? Or is it you who refuse to read the instruction on how to use that thing? Some of us don't put on seatbelt. We assume that seatbelt kills in accident. But the man who created the car knows the benefit of seatbelt, and he put it there for us. But how many people use seatbelts? We even fight with government officials. If road safety says put on your seatbelt, people will argue and people will charge at the person and say, why do you need me to put on my seatbelt? The point I'm trying to make is that for every problem, there's a solution. And that solution is independent of whatever evil machination that is coming your way. Because the truth is, if you are really in communion, in connection with the divine, there is no amount of negative energy from anywhere that can do you harm. You see, we need to learn to make a system work. I'm talking about us in Nigeria. Because when I study the white man, when I study countries that have made their things, made their life, their activities progress, or make them successful, one thing I find out is they have learned to make a system work. We need to learn it. We have to make the system work. There's nothing like luck, or the lousy or crazy definition some of us ascribe to grace. That's a talk for another day. But such things do not exist the way we think of them. For every problem, there's a solution, but you have to look deep for you to find that solution. So life is complete if only we can pay attention to those things we need to pay attention to, and stop accusing village people. Because sometimes we are the village people that are winching ourselves worse than any other thing. You know, if we look at the idea of village people deeper, you find out that somebody says village people are so evil, they are so evil, they are so evil. Yet you walk January to December, and in December you run to the village to go and spend the money and show those same evil people that you are so wealthy. Then most times after eating all the BS we can eat within the festive season, because a lot of people increase their alcohol intake, increase meat intake, and eat a lot of things that naturally they do not do. Then in January you come back with sickness and you call village people. Whenever you break the laws, because there are laws guiding every system, irrespective of how religious or how spiritual you are, if you get into a system and you break the laws, you have the repercussion. Let's take for instance, no matter how spiritual you are, you will eat food. Or if you want to test it, stay for 200 days, 1 year or 1 year without eating food or drinking water. In fact, as a matter of fact, you can use earmuff to block your nose, and let's see how long you last. If you need light in your house, you have to own a generator if NEPA is not available. If you get to the market, you behave according to how they behave there. If you go to an eatery, you behave differently. If you go to a school, you behave differently. And if you go to an office, you behave differently. Every system has rules and regulation. And when you apply the rules and regulation of a system, you achieve success. But when you don't apply the rules of that system, you will never achieve success, irrespective of how much you pray or kabash or do whatever you are doing. If you have a car and you pour water into the petrol tank, if you pray from now till tomorrow, that car will never move. Why? Because you have broken the laws that are guiding this car. If they say your battery, you should pour acid into it, and you take petrol and pour inside that acid, there is no amount of prayer that will make the car move. And it's not about village people. It's about the fact that you have not applied what it means. You have not applied the knowledge or the technology that is needed to make that thing work. A lot of drivers that I know can't even read road signs, because as far as I'm concerned, a lot of us don't even learn how to drive. You just stay one day, you have, even me as a person, I did not learn how to drive. I used to see my driver then in secondary school. I used to see him, he pushes down one pedal, and to change gear, he pushes down that pedal all the time. And I know that gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4. So from my basic knowledge, I know that you cannot just start a car and put it in gear 4. You must start from gear 1. So one day I took the car and I put it in gear 1, and it moved. And that was how I started driving. Though there is no statistics about this, but I believe that if a statistics is taken, over 30 or 40% of Nigerian men did not learn driving. We just started driving just like that. So, if you just drive just like that and you get to a road, there is road signs that says A, B, or C. How do you know what that sign means when you've never read any driving manual? You believe driving is just push throttle, push brake, and control your steering, change gears, finish. My point is this: as a nation, as a people, as people that are growing, as leaders in our various capacity, let us learn what it takes to make the system work. Because a lot of our problems are not spiritual, they are physical. They are physical. We try to put it on the spiritual because somehow that relieves us of the responsibility. But we pray, and nothing happens. Have you ever wondered why we pray and prayer miss and nothing happens? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And nothing happens. Yet you are praying. Is it because God doesn't answer prayers? No. It's because there's something you've not done right. And when you do right, your prayers will work. So please, in whatever thing we're doing, it doesn't matter how little that thing may be. It can be something as simple as crossing the road. There are rules and regulations that guide them. And it pays for us to read and understand how to manage those things. Anything that has a manual requires learning to be able to use it. So, when there is a problem, don't look to village people. Look in the physical and find out, how do I solve this problem first? Then when you look at all the possible ways in which you can solve this problem and you do everything possible and nothing is working, then you can look at the spiritual. Okay? So let us apply this simple key. It starts with reading. We can read. Because if I had read everything that YouTube sent me, I would have known where my problem was coming from. So we have a great future because we're a great nation. I believe we can be a great nation if we apply the right principles. So let's look at ourselves and the nature of our problem from a very positive and natural perspective, and stop blaming our village people. So look into yourself, look into your situation, look at your life. Are you the type that has graduated 5, 6, 7 years ago? You say there's no job and you see village people, they pursue you. Can you write an application letter? If someone calls you now and says defend your cause intellectually, can you do that? If they employ you in a company, can you add value to that company? Or the next month you're looking for salary increase when you have not even done 10% of your work description or your job description? So let's look at our problems from the right perspective and we'll be able to solve it. Nigeria can be a great nation. Thank you and cheers for listening. Hi guys. I want to share an experience I had recently that actually reminded me of something. Village people. It actually showed me how village people work in our lives. Now the experience goes like this. I have a YouTube channel, and for over 10 or 12 years that I've had the channel, I was more of a consumer. I don't really upload videos to them. But lately, say about a year ago, I started uploading videos to YouTube. Now, in the beginning, when I upload some videos to YouTube, I'll click on it is not for kids. Because when you're uploading a video to YouTube,